is Girl on Fire. And the reason I really chose that name is because when I think of a girl on fire, quite frankly, yes, I think of myself. I'm all right, you know. But I do think of that woman who is a mover and a shaker. She is making things happen. She does make an impact in the earth, but not only for herself, the people that she links arms with, right? They can't help but to elevate. She's the type of woman when she comes in a room, you know, because it can't be left the same. When she leaves out, there's value that has been deposited into the atmosphere. And so I know all of the women that are here, all of the women that you've heard before, after, what have you, from Girl on Fire, or anything from Jesus Coffee and Prayer Camp, they on fire. I'm gonna just tell you that right now.
Cheryl Wood, international empowerment speaker, 12-time best-selling author, and master speaker development coach. And I am a girl on fire.
Yeah. Hello, this is Shantae Moore. This is for my glow-getters, my girl on fire. What? You guys are girls on fire. I love it. I'm on fire for God.
Scott, CEO and founder of 360 Total Concept, co-host of What Sibling Rivalry podcast, and I am a girl on fire.
Yes, queen, yes!
I'm Nikki Rich of the Nikki Rich Show, and I am a girl on fire.
It's your girl Coco from SWV, and you're watching Girl on Fire, hosted by Jesus, Coffee, and
I
Prayer.
am Dr. Sonia Stribling, TV personality, U.S. Army veteran, CEO and founder of Born to Be Powerful Academy, and I am a girl on fire.
Yeah!
Hey,
Why Dr. Sonia had to add whole gestures? Why Dr. Sonia had to add the gestures in?
Queen, it's time to play your royal position. This is your girl, Minister Nakita Davis, the proud CEO and founder of Jesus Coffee and Prayer Christian Publishing House, the #1 Christian publishing house in the land. And I am so excited that you are here with us. This is Girl on Fire.
Let me tell you this, see, I rock my own money. Keep talking, can't tell me nothing, no.
I went from making $75,000 a year to $75,000 a month. You talk about a girl from the hood, a girl who ain't know nothing about having money in the bank. Literally. How's that happen? It's a God thing. It's a God divine timing thing. It's a divine orchestration with women like this who see greatness in you and are willing to open the doors.
women of faith, and I'm going to say this may hurt just a little bit. We think we can just stay in that little cubicle, that little corner. Oh, I know God, I can pray, I can do all this. We just do that. And we say things, I'm waiting on God. He's sitting back like, girl, can y'all tell them I'm waiting on them? They're not waiting on me. You're not waiting on me. It's already done.
Hello everyone, it's your girl Coco from SWV, and you're watching Girl on Fire, hosted by Jesus, Coffee, and Prayer. Now my definition of a girl on fire is myself. I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, a sister, a friend, entrepreneur. I'm fabulous, but most of all, I'm a king's kid. Much love and God bless.
God has graced you to create. He just gave that to me just now. I didn't have that before. He has graced you to create, right? So if the first thing our Heavenly Father did was create, so the question is, what has He called you to create? I'm so excited that you are here. If you are here, you are in the best spot to be. You are a go-getter, a glow-getter. You're a speaker, you're an author, you're a girl boss, you're a woman of faith, you're a coach, you're a consultant, you're a mom, you're a wife, you're single, you a girl boss. And that's why you are here. And we are so delighted. We have an amazing lineup of women for the next few days as we march into this brand new year, 2021. Come on. We are declaring the blessings of Abraham over your life. So look, if you're tuning in, this is the best time for you to pick up the tips, the tools, the nuggets, everything that you need to soar in 2021. And so I'm excited for the panel that we've got here for you tonight. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. We've got some amazing women, truly all over the U.S., East Coast to West Coast, and international in the building as well.
Hi, Queens, and welcome to Girl on Fire 2021. I am Reverend Coach Keever Murdaugh. I am an ordained minister, and I'm also the proud owner and CEO of several different companies. I own K Lernice Naturals, which is an all-natural hair and skincare product line. We have everything that you need to get your hair together, such as shampoos, conditioners, all the way down to various oils, growth serums, healing oils, and more. Feel free to check out our products on our website at klernicenaturals.com. That's KLERNISE, naturals with an S.com. I'm also the proud owner of a brick and mortar boutique called Keever's The Natural Choice Boutique and Gift Shop. We're located in Camden, South Carolina, and not only do we house our K Lernice natural products, but I also provide a space and opportunity for other business owners and women bosses to have their products in my brick and mortar as well. So not only do we have natural hair and skincare products, but we also have natural soaps, women apparels, feminine products, pain relief. We have immune boosters such as elderberry tonic, and so much more. So definitely feel free to check out our products and my other business owners' products on our website at keeversboutique.com. That's KEEV as in Victor, ERS, boutique.com. Or if you're ever in the Camden area, definitely feel free to stop by our store. We're located at 2639 Suite D, Broad Street, Camden, South Carolina. I'm also a certified business and life coach, and I have a company called KLM Services Consulting and More. And we specialize in helping other entrepreneurs and business owners hone in on their brand's voice, understanding their avatar and target audience, and helping them getting their structuring and marketing tools together. So that's a little bit about my businesses. What makes me a girl on fire? When I think of the term girl on fire, I think of something that is unstoppable. When I think about a fire, I think about fire as in consuming everything that is in its path, right? So what makes me a girl on fire is that I believe in consuming everything that is in my path. I truly believe that there is nothing that I cannot do. You know, the Bible lets us know that we can do anything, we can do all things through Christ who strengthens him, right? Who strengthens us, right? So with God on my side and with him definitely strengthening me every day, but day by day, I truly believe that there is nothing that is impossible for me to have. There is nothing impossible for me to be able to accomplish, and I'm a firm believer in that. I believe that no matter what I put my mind to, if God brought me to it, he'll definitely take me through it. So I think that when I think about Girl on Fire, I think that what I attribute to when I think about that is, you know, as evident of all of my businesses, and I'm definitely not done yet, but all of my businesses, you know, I believe in just moving forward. I believe in allowing every opportunity that comes my way to be able to grow and to be able to get better and to be able to learn. So I definitely use every chance that I get. And even if I fail at one thing that I attempt to do, there's nothing wrong with failing. You know, the problem with failure is that if you fail at something and if you give up, if you fail at something and if you do not have the ability to be able to re-strategize and just get better and just get stronger. And that what makes you a failure is that if you choose not to get back up. Failing at something does not make you a failure. It just means that you have to reevaluate the situation. But what makes you a failure is that if you fail at something and you refuse to get back up. So I want to encourage you to definitely don't stay stagnant. Continue to grow, continue to get better, continue to keep striving, continue to keep fighting, continue to just not be content with staying stagnant. So definitely continue to move forward. Definitely continue to be better than you were yesterday. be better than you were the second before. And just continue to just move and grow and just allow God to use you. And sis, I promise you, if you do that, number one, if you just allow to just let God show you, to let God lead you, to let God direct you, to let God guide you, if you do those things, you cannot fail. You cannot fail. So definitely continue to just be better than you were. Don't let anybody discourage you to be anything other than best, the best that you can be. And I promise you, the sky is the limit. Thank you so much. You can definitely follow me on all social media, Keever Murdaugh. Definitely check out my websites. And the best way to follow me and check out my website is to follow me on Linktree. That's linktr.ee/Keever Murdaugh. linktr.ee/Keever Murdaugh. Thank you so much again, and God bless you.
Okay, hi guys. My name is Charmaine Lewis. I am first and foremost a child of God. I am a highly favored daughter. I am a mother, wife. I'm a daughter. I'm an educator. I'm also a Christian counselor, fitness instructor from time to time. I'm a mentor. I'm a filmmaker, playwright, award-winning screenwriter, and now I can add to that list, author. So that is something that I am excited about. So how do I serve women, especially young ladies? But the one thing that really sticks out to me, and a lot of girls come to me for, is insecurities. I had insecurities about my skin color being dark and how I was teased about it and all these, negative things that people used to say. They kind of just grew with me into my adulthood. And it was something that was hard to get out of. It was bondage. So women come to me for godly counsel. How did you get out of your bondage from different little things, not just skin color, but just relationships, whatever it is that may be going on, children, whatever it may be. But that's one thing I do. I mentor, getting out of those insecurities early. Don't wait till you're older, like in your late 30s or early 40s, to know what God put in you, what He equipped you with, how He created you, because you are perfect. He made you in His image. So how more perfect can you get if He made you in like an image of Him? So for that, just getting over those insecurities, because insecurities can hold you back from accomplishing your goals. Another thing, let's see, that other question was, why are you a girl on fire? The main question, why are you a girl on fire? I am an entrepreneur, and quarantine has taught me a lot. And I know it's taught most of us a lot, but besides just being prepared, digging deep in you to see what else is there to do when you can't go out to the stores and you can't go shopping or doing or whatever else distracts you from your purpose. So I give all the glory to God for introducing me to Minister Nakita Davis, who pushed me to first co-author my first book, Boss Moms, and to do another book, all in the same year. Broken Pencils is a devotional for teachers, a book I wrote. I'm the only author for that one. So Boss Moms opened up the door for me to write another one and just give me that. Well, let's go back. Minister Nakita Davis is such an inspiration. And she pushed me and she encouraged me to, yeah, you can do it. You can finish another book. And by God's grace, I did it. And I'm thankful for that. I give God all the glory, all the praise, because we, for Boss Moms, we're bestsellers. For Broken Pencils, so it was the same. So it was a great experience. And I'm looking forward to writing more. Right now, I'm looking at an ebook, creating my landing page, and there's just more to come. I accomplished, or better yet, I was able to complete my second short last year. And I'm working on a few more productions, working on another short until God opens the doors for me to get on that bigger screen. So that's what I know He's preparing me for. I've been through a lot of changes. I've been through a lot of people
that weren't really out, for my good. But Romans 8:28, God will work and turn it around, and it will work out for his good. His will prevail. His purpose in your life will prevail. The one thing I can tell you guys is a lot of times as a creator, you think out of the box and your mind is going constantly. You're thinking about this, you're thinking about that. Then you're thinking about practical things. I have to go to the store for this. I have to do this for my child. I have to do this for my husband. And it's so many things you have going on around you. People say you think outside the box, but let me give you this bit of advice as far as kind of getting away from distractions. If you can envision, if you have this, I call it a security box. And in that security box is just you and your Heavenly Father sitting at the table, him across from you. And he's giving you these ideas. But outside of that box is the distractions. And right now, your box is small. But he's giving you ideas, bits and pieces at a time, so that you can work on what he's giving you to work on in that season. Yeah, he's going to give you a flood of ideas, but all those ideas are not going to manifest at one time. It's going to manifest in different seasons. So the more that your security box is controlled, you have that key to let in what you want to let in and let out what you want to let out. But the bigger, or the more you focus on that one idea, the bigger that one idea will grow and manifest, and that will push all your distractions out to where all you have is that security box, so just you and God, and he's giving you what he needs you to do to get that idea going. So just focus on him. Just focus on God and focus on what he wants you to do this season. Ask him, what is it, Father? What is my task for this season, for this time right now that I need to do? And help you along that journey. And he will give you everything you need. The last thing where you can find me, I have a film company called decodedmovies.com. You can go there, find my productions there. I also co-own a business with my daughter called Honeyed Essentials. We do shea butters. You can find me on Facebook, Parker Lewis, or Instagram, Decode My Movies. So that's it. Thank you, guys.
I am Frances Frazier, the CEO of Serenity Financials, LLC. I am a proud mother of 3, full-time graduate student, degreed accountant, QuickBooks Pro advisor, and aspiring enroll agent. My mission is to help individuals and small business owners reach and exceed their financial goals. I'm a strong advocate of financial literacy and ensure every client is properly educated on how to utilize tax code and credit while servicing other accounting needs. I am a girl boss because I know what I want and I pursue it relentlessly. I strive to be the best version of myself on a daily basis, and defeat is not an option. I serve other girl bosses by supporting them, encouraging them, listening to them, and most of all, praying for them. Because we share common challenges as women business owners. And a lot of times, fear and lack of confidence holds us back from greatness. Mindset is everything in entrepreneurship. I myself had to attain the right mindset. For example, I realized my W-2 job is not just something that I dread waking up and going to every day. God blessed me with a seed source, and you value your seed source because that's how you provide for yourself and your family, but that's also how you fund your passion. I know we think we can go get a small business grant or a business loan, but what if a grant isn't available for your industry? Or what if you don't meet the credit and loan requirements for that loan? What do you do? Do you quit? Or do you utilize what's already in your possession? I had to learn to plan, organize, manage not only my money, but also my time. My most impactful lesson was realizing my network is truly my net worth. Another girl boss told me, you have to surround yourself with people that have already traveled the road that you're on and attained the success that you desire. You are connected to people who are connected to people that are willing and capable of supporting you. You have to be open, share what you're doing, and ask for what you need. You need to know that you are strong, you are beautiful, you are virtuous, you are intelligent, you are capable, you are worthy and deserving of everything that you desire. After all, God gave you the desire because it has already been predestined for your life. It's just sitting there waiting for you to put the work in and go get it. Let me relieve you of this stress. No one hands it all the way together, and success is not an overnight occurrence. So think about this. Let's think about a baby when it's learning to walk for the first time. The baby takes baby steps while it's trying to gain its stability. So what happens when that baby takes too large of a step? The baby stumbles and even falls, right? But does the baby quit? Like, how many adults you see just crawling around out there on the street? No, the baby don't quit. The baby finds anything closest to it to pull itself up on, whether it's a table, a chair, a couch, a person. That baby is determined to walk. So it pulls up and tries again and again and again and again until eventually that baby is walking and smiling at accomplishment and eventually running like catch me if you can. Well, girl boss, that's you and your business. In 2021, it's time for you to pull up, catch your stride, and take off. Before you go to bed tonight, look in the mirror and tell yourself, nothing is impossible because I'm possible.
My name is Godella Petty, known as Mary Angel. I am a best-selling author. I write children's books. I also am an evangelist. I have 3 businesses. I am a nonprofit organization, and I serve women in the community by empowering them with tools and resources. I have a food pantry that helps and allows the women to be able to feed their children. I have resources to help them with job skills, sending them resources with trainings and different clothing for job interviews. And also I service women in the community by domestic violence counseling. And I also provide services to where women who want to start their own business, to take them through those steps to make sure that they are able to achieve the goals that they have for their own lives. And I am an authentic woman. I also offer them my authentic self. And God has blessed me to be a woman on fire because he has placed his fire down within inside of me. And I am going places and I set ablaze wherever I go because God has given me that ability to shine in places and in people's lives and to empower the women that I come in contact with, to help them and strengthen them to know that they are too women that possess the fire that gives you the go. And the tip that I want to leave for the women is that the one thing for 2021 is unity, love, and connection, and the strength that we should empower each other in this time. That our unity and our love for one another, and for us to be able to grow together and to be able to be empowered together, I believe that we can make girls all be on fire. Thank you.
Come on up to the virtual stage, if you will, and introduce yourself. We're going to start off with Miss Pauline. Come on off mute, Queen, and tell them who you are and tell them what you do and how you are a girl on fire.
Well, my name is Pauline Atkinson. I am from Long Island, New York,
born in New York City, raised in Brooklyn and Long Island, so shout out to New York. And hey, and I am an author. I've written 2 poetry books, When the Mood is Right, A Poetry Journey, and Mood Swings. And I'm a novice, but having said that, so much has happened to me within a year's time that you, by God's grace, you just wouldn't believe how the journey has begun and how it's going. So I'll talk about it later, but I'm just saying that it's amazing how when you focus and you pray and you manifest and you really believe in yourself, you yourself can go tremendous places. And I can attest to that because COVID was a thing and it got me through so much. And so I'll share that later. But yes, so I'm from New York, I'm an author, and great things are happening in my life.
Come on, Queen. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for being here, Pauline, because here's the deal. Being a girl on fire, and I just want to make this clear, it's not about what stage you are in, but it's about where you're going. It's the hope that you have on the inside. And so guess what? You know how many people want to write a book, Queen? Like 1 billion. I was reading a study, 8 out of 10 people, adults over the age of 18 want to write a book, but only, I think it was like 1.5 out of those 8 actually have the courage to finish the book and write it. So whether it's 1 or 2, you can use the word novice, but baby, you are running laps around most of the world who wants to do what you have done, and by accomplishing just 1, and so now you've done 2, so that's amazing. You are not a novice, Queen, and that's why you're here on Girl on Fire. So I'm so glad to have you, Queen. Yes, yes. And my next beautiful queen is out of this world. No, she's not out of this world, but she is international. Shaira, Queen, come on off of the mute for me. Let them know who you are, what you do, how you serve, and how you are a girl on fire.
Hey Nakita, first up, thank you so much for having me. I am so very honored to be here and to be part of such distinguished panelists of women over here. And I am a business and money energetics coach. I work with fellow international women entrepreneurs who are trying to elevate their business and money consciousness. And I do that using neuroscience techniques, consciousness techniques, and energy work. I am also an international best-selling author of the book, Power of Why. It is an anthology with fellow girl bosses from around the world. So how does it get better than that? And I'm from New Delhi, India. So again, really, really honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, Queen. Well, definitely a delight. This is the second project we've been able to work on. As she mentioned, a little hint on a little book. You know, we've been blessed to work together on a #1 international best-selling book. Absolutely phenomenal. All the women who participated. I am truly in awe of God's favor, of the connections and the collaborations. Like, y'all, I hope y'all picking up these clues. I know you see behind me Success Leaves clues, but this is an extension of that. If you're here, hopefully you got to see it. If not, CC around town and find out about it. But it was phenomenal, and you can catch it as well. But collaborating is everything. As you propel forward into 2021, if you're not linked up and yoked up with the right women or whoever is in your field, then I need you to rethink possible, because you're never going to get as far as God wants to take you without linking up arms with other women who are on fire. And so I'm so glad and honored that I get to be linked up with women such as you. So thank you so much, Queen. And so last but definitely not least, is my queen over here, Tracy Jones. Come on off the mute, Queen. Tell them who you are, where you be, what you do, how you serve, and how you are a girl on fire.
Oh, okay. So I am Tracy Tate Jones. I am the CEO of TLJ Professional Services, where we're about all things financial. And we do bookkeeping, accounting, taxes, life and health insurance, business formation, business funding, and business coaching. Right here out of the San Francisco Bay Area, Cali. And I too am an author. I'm a 3-time author, working on compilation book 4 and 5. So I'm excited about that, even with you. So I'm really excited about that. Yes, yes, yes. The best is yet to come. I was actually featured on Your Success Leaves Clues, which ran last night, so that was exciting, getting some nice little feedback. And I am excited to say that I went from a six-figure position to a six-figure business. So I'm that girl on fire.
I love it. Yes, honey, let me tell you something. It is nothing like being able to replace your corporate or whatever income you had where you were an employee, and then being able to flip it to where it's the money that you bring in from your business. It's like you're eating the fruit of the land. You know what I'm saying? Like you're just going out and grabbing mangoes because you made those mangoes. Now we know God is the author. He's the creator of everything, but you know what I'm saying? It's like you went out and got the mangoes, or you went out and jumped in the ocean and got the fish and brought it back in, and then you scaled it and you cooked it, and you know, it's all of that. That's how it feels. That's how I feel. So, so I know that's how you feel, Queen. Well, fantastic. Well, like I said, I'm excited to have each and every one of you here today, and this is just the beginning. So we're going to kick it off. Again, this is all about several things. One, all the glory belongs to God, but outside of that, we want to energize you. We want to jump start your 2021. This is what it's all about, for you to be able to get feedback. Think if you were in the room with whoever you look up to from a business standpoint, being able to walk away with those tips, those techniques, those strategies. Maybe you want to be an author. All of these women, are authors, right? All of these women have overcome the odds that say they wouldn't be or wouldn't be able to do. So if they can do it, guess what? You can do it too. So let's kick it off and start it with that. So I'm kind of going to go like a round robin, if you will. So we'll go Pauline, Shaira, and then Tracy. And then we will have an opportunity to kind of scale back and go into your individual niches. But we're going to start kind of holistically for any woman, whether she's in the beginning, middle phase, or she's been doing this thing. She's a vet. She's been doing it for a while. So let's start. The elephant in the room, 2020. Okay, let's just keep it. Can we keep it real? Can we keep it real? 2020 was not the easiest year for anybody. I don't care if you're a man, woman, cat, dog. It was a trying year, depending on how you had to maneuver. I want you to encourage the women who are watching this around the globe. If they struggle with 2020 and they want to be hopeful for 2021, but they're finding difficulty in making that transition or picking back up, going with their dream, what would you say to that woman, and how did you pivot? How did you burst through to get those books out, or to coach those people about their mindset, or to propel with the bookkeeping and the cost? And like, what did you do, and how can you encourage them? Because 2020 may have been difficult for them, which it was for most, but so give them some encouragement and tell them what you did. So we'll start with you, Pauline. Well,
That's a very good question, actually, because 2020 clearly is tremendous. It's unbearable and what have you. But for me, being an author wasn't even anything that I had planned ever to do in life. So this was not on my radar at all. So having said that, I'm going through some things in life, and I felt a void. So this is my thing. I felt this void, and I knew I needed something more out of my life. Watching the kids grow, everybody's independent now, and I felt something's missing here. So what I did to get to where I am now, there was a lot of meditating and praying and fasting and believing in myself. And this is, it's all God's glory, because I was really at a place where I have this job and it's wonderful and all, but I still am not satisfied, and something's wrong. I need something. And it took a while for me to get to where I am now. But just last year in April, after all that hard praying, having the faith, because you have to have faith, because if you don't, then you have to find faith. I mean, that you have to find faith. And then you have to also believe in yourself, because if you believe in God, you don't see God, right? But you know him and you feel him. So therefore, you should have some type of faith and in yourself as well. So I started strongly believing in me, more so than I have ever done before. Casting out people that don't belong anymore in my life, changing even my diet. Okay, what I was putting inside of myself changed. My mindset changed. And then after all of that happened, it's like the spirit came down and spoke to me and said, girl, you need to start writing poetry. And I never shared it with anyone. I wrote, but no one ever knew that I did it. But God knew and said, this is what you need to do. And that's my testament. That's what I started doing. I was obedient to what the messenger told me to do, and I did it. And now I'm following, I'm being obedient, I'm following what was my plan, because I didn't think that was my plan. So now I'm just going by God's grace. I'm following him, and that's leading me to the next level.
That's so good, Queen.
That's it. I can't even give you any other real tool, because it was all praying and manifesting and believing in myself.
But those are huge. But those are huge tools. Like, those are huge tools. I think sometimes we get stuck on the tangible. Like, what can I see? What can I feel? Can I touch this watch? You know, and then so in our mind, oh, well, I really didn't do anything. Sometimes that's all you need to do. If anything, for some folks, this was just a waiting season. You needed to be patient because you had to slow down. You had no choice. Like, you can't go there. They're closed, honey. So you got to sit down, like you can't go in the building. And so perfect timing, like you said, for the prayer, for the fasting, for the manifestation to form, even your diet. Now that wouldn't have been something I would have thought of, but you're absolutely right. Being mindful of what you're consuming, not only in your mouth, what you're eating, what you're listening to, what you're watching with your eyes. All of that was a part of that process for you. And obviously it paid off, because now you've got the 2 books. You're working on several different projects that I know about. You can share at the end.
I forgot to mention your project.
Come on, girl, don't even see, this how they do me. Y'all watching this? This is how they do me. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's all good. I know sometimes I forget what I got going on. Unless it pop up on my calendar, I'll be like, ooh, we got a call today. Ooh, we got, so don't even worry about that. I totally get it. I'm just proud of you for being able to push through, because there's a lot of people that couldn't find the strength to push through, and so therefore they remain stuck. And this is all about helping women become unstuck so they can be a girl on fire and do everything that God has called them to do and be in this season right now. 2021 is about to be, whatever happened as far as in positivity is getting ready to double up. So that's where we're going. So thank you for that. So Shaira, Queen, tell us, what about you? How did the pandemic really kind of impact you and what you're doing? Because I know people were running to you. You talking mindset. I know their mind was messed up. So talk to me about how you got them back mentally in the game so they could be that girl boss. And then what shifts did you have to make to personally make sure you were ready? Because let me just say this, I'm gonna be quiet, but many times when you're in a position of empowering people, that's the gift God has given you, to empower, to encourage, to inspire. That's beautiful. Sometimes people are looking at you and you tapped out. So how did you keep your mind where it needed to be so you could help them bust through? So we'll go from there.
Right. I think that's such an amazing question, for the simple reason that this year, 2020, all of us as a collective human race have been through so much. And that, however, does not take away from our individual struggles and challenges that we've had to go through. And we have known that it is only us that can actually find our way through it. And for me, personally speaking, it had also been quite a tumultuous year, at least to begin with, because all of my work used to happen in person. And suddenly I found myself in this, state of crisis of having no work at all and not knowing what to do with, I had wanted to go digital for a really long time, but I wasn't, acting upon it, because when you're in a comfortable state, you kind of know things are working out, things are going well, you don't really push yourself that hard. So this was my chance to actually pull my socks up as well. And this was my chance to kind of use what I have been teaching and sharing with the world, with the women around the world, to put it into practice myself, and to kind of, you know, it was my test in that sense. And I started asking questions. That is what I started doing. There's this consciousness modality that I had studied. It's called Access Consciousness, and it talks a lot about asking questions, because ask and you shall receive is really how it works. A lot of times the reason that we don't get what we want is because we're not even willing to ask for it. So I just kind of started asking questions of the universe. You know, what else is possible here? What else can I do that I haven't considered before, that I haven't done before, that would kind of get me unstuck and get me on that path to, you know, moving forward with respect to my business the way I haven't done so far, because 2020 has been a year of doing things differently. And what showed up for me is a lot of collaborations with fellow women entrepreneurs, with entrepreneurs in general. What I was also asking was what else is possible with my finances that I've never even considered before. And what showed up for me was an affiliate marketing program that I could help with, and I hadn't ever done affiliate marketing before. So I did affiliate marketing for a Tony Robbins program, and I sold that and made income off of that. So it was literally, you know, about opening up my world to possibilities, because suddenly I felt like I was stuck in a limited reality that I had never, you know, kind of a situation that I had never experienced before. But it is what I teach. I teach possibility mindset with respect to business and finances. So I better kind of employ that in my own life right now, so that I can be that example and lead by example. So I started using all of these techniques, and possibilities really started showing up. And I think it is amazing how much we underestimate just the power of asking, whether it is the power of asking fellow women, fellow entrepreneurs, fellow people around us, our families, whoever it may be. Just talk, just ask. That's how possibilities start to open up. That's how your world starts to open up. That's how you kind of, you know, invite opportunities and possibilities into your life. And that's what I did. I started talking to people. I started asking questions of the universe. I started opening myself to possibilities, you know, things that I had never done before, like this affiliate marketing program. And I made money off of that, and I went digital, and I had my first few international clients because of going digital. So it's, yeah, that's what I would say. Just keep yourself open to possibilities. Just ask.
That, you know, it sounds so simple. Open your mouth and say something. That's what it boils down to. I forget, who was it? Gretzky, I forget the first name, Lord forgive me. But the bottom line is this: you miss 100% of the shots, queen, that you do not take, okay? And so if you are afraid, if you're moving in the spirit of fear, then you won't ask. And I can second that notion in my life when I have opened my mouth to ask. If they say no, they say no. If they don't want to help me, they don't want to help me. If they don't have time, they don't have time. If they don't want to participate, they don't want to participate. But the show must go on. And so when I open up and ask, and being willing to humble myself. But see, the reason why people don't like to ask is because they don't want to humble themselves. It's sometimes, it's not always, sometimes it's fear. Sometimes it's a sense of pride. Like, maybe I should already know this. Maybe I should already, well, maybe they think I'm here. And if I ask this, then they're going to know I'm not there. So I don't want to say nothing. And so therefore I stay in the dark, which is stupid. I'm sorry. And I don't really use that word in my vernacular, but it just is. Queen, you've got to open your mouth. That's the only way you're going to elevate in 2021 and beyond. You've got to open your mouth and say, how can I get in where God has called me to fit in? Who can I connect with? Who can I collaborate with? And put it on them. That's it. The obedience piece of that is, it's not if they say yes. The obedience piece, if you just ask. right? So I'm completely with you on that. When you rethink possible and what is possible, it's just endless. I want to share this one super quick story. I think, and look, don't give me the line as to who told me this or where, but I'm sure I can Google it somewhere. But I believe it was Dr. Seuss, like some of his stories, you know, the famous children's author. And I believe it was Green Eggs and Ham. Well, that came along, somebody gave him like a challenge and said, I bet you can't write a story or a book with just few words or few pages or whatever the case was in the specifics. And he said, okay, I'm going to do it. And he just wrote and he did that. And that book is like one of the most well-known. I mean, I remember reading that in school. My daughter, my son, is like, if you've been living long enough, you've heard of Green Eggs and Ham. Okay. But it came from the possibility of him being constrained. What he was used to having, or access to the working knowledge or the number of word count or pages or whatever, that was stripped away. And it was given that you have this confined amount of space, confined amount of time to make it happen. And he did it. And it ended up being some of the best work he had ever did. And so I believe that's the same thing for us. You hear people say, think outside the box, think outside the box. And I get it, I understand. I believe in thinking inside the box. And what that means is, before I go out and say, oh, well, if I have more money, or if I get that person or that, do collaborate, do connect and all of that. But first start with you. What do you have? What resources, what tools, what networks do you already have at your fingertips? What's already in your mental Rolodex that you can use to bust it wide open? So I start there. And from there, if it's not what I need, then I expand, right? And then if there's one, you save some money that way. But two, you really untap or uncap what you're capable of. And that's a win-win situation. So thank you so much for that, Shaira. You're absolutely right. We're gonna deep dive into that neuroscience and all them other molecules and stuff you was talking about, because I definitely want to know, and I'm sure the queens want to know too. Tracy, queen, talk to me, queen. How did you pivot? I mean, definitely from 6 figures in corporate to 6 figures in the bank, because I believe, you know, I follow all you queens. I saw something where you won an award or something for being a 6-figure girl boss, something. So tell the people how you pivoted, did it with the impact, 6-figure earner. That's fantastic. Tell them how you were able to kind of flip that, and how can you encourage them in this season if they feel stuck?
So one of the main things that I tapped into was my tribe, my mentorship. Okay. So it's all about networking and connecting and having that support system, because I didn't have to lean on information that I only knew. I was able to tap in and use some of the resources that other people were doing. Like, yeah, I could do that, you know? So I think that's one of the biggest things that I did, besides never giving up. You know, I saw a need, so I service entrepreneurs and small business clients. And, you know, it came a time that they couldn't pay me. So I'm like, okay, I still got to pay my bills. They can't pay their bill. But everybody needed to apply for that SBA funding or grants or loans to just sustain, because didn't nobody know what to expect, what was next, right? And every month there was something. So I leveraged that and helped business owners and entrepreneurs that needed to apply for it, and they were not ready in their books or ready, just period. Mentally, didn't know that the information existed or the opportunities existed. And I spoke about it, and I helped those that needed the help. So, I mean, I think the biggest piece was my tribe, you know, and having those resources and connections to be able to leverage and tap into when everybody's back was against the wall, because it wasn't just me that had to pivot, everybody had to pivot, right? So I think that kind of saved me, honestly.
Absolutely. And what I think sometimes it sounds simple, like this is business one-on-one. If you took business, well, I remember I did take a small business class in high school. Thank God they had that. I always knew at some point I would be an entrepreneur. Didn't know when, but at some point I always had an entrepreneur spirit. And, you know, the definition really of a business is you're basically filling a need. What is the need? Find the need. What's the need? What do the people need right now? It look like everybody out here thirsty. If I can come with some water, I might have a business. Okay. So I'm just saying, what do the people need? Maybe they need your poetry, right? Because they need that in their mind. I mean, I'm not gonna say maybe, I know they need it because I'm a fellow poet myself, okay? But but maybe they need that. Maybe they need that mindset shift because they're stuck. Maybe they need, like you said, small business owners, they need help so they can get the funding that the government wants to give. Find a need, queen, and fill it. And then if you can find a need and feel it, and you actually feel it, meaning you're passionate about it, come on, because there's plenty of people. Guess what? If you just want to find something to make money and it's not your passion, I'm gonna be honest with you, just get your old W-2. Just get you a job. Just be an employee, because there's lots of people that are in positions where pay the bills. Is that how you want to live your life? I can pay the bills. I mean, cool, I guess. I understand we have to have a roof over our head and food to eat. I'm not knocking anybody. That certainly was me for many, many years. However, if God has called you to more, if he's called you to greater, if you know that's within you, then I need you to work that strategy. I talk to a lot of my clients about working a 90-day strategy. Honey, I done had about 3 or 4 women quit their job. I said, oh, Lord, please let this be what you have told them to do. Let me make sure before they just, I'm like, wait a minute now, sis, before you quit, now, did you pay that last invoice? No, but God bless you if you're watching this, girl, I love you. But what I'm trying to say to you is, you know, if it's not your passion, if it's not your purpose, then I really want you to rethink that thing, because that's only going to fuel you for a little bit. So let's tap into that. I'm kind of going to reverse engineer it from Tracy to Shaira to Pauline. So talk to me about how you knew this was a passion and a calling, a purpose for you, versus, I know people have businesses. I know they're going to need somebody to help them with taxes and bookkeeping. Like, how did this become your thing? How did you know this was your jam? Because obviously you've been wildly successful in it. How did that come about to you, for that woman that's saying, I know I want to do something, I know I'm called to greater, but I don't know what?
So honestly, for me, it was straight out of high school. And actually while I was in high school. So I started working at 16. My first job was with Wells Fargo, the leading bank, the national bank. So that kind of laid the platform of just the financial side and knowing that aspect of it. But then I knew I liked math. So the only thing that I could think of at the time was accounting. You know, there wasn't a whole lot going on in the 80s. So that women would do. But honestly, if I knew what I knew today, I should have been an engineer. It would have been groundbreaking as a Black woman, as a woman in that industry, especially in the 80s. But I'm good at drawing, I'm good at building, you know, and the math. So all of that's part of architecture, you know, so I could have been an engineer or architect or something. But God, you know, he sustains me. So I know this is my path. And where I use my calling is actually to help those that need the help. So you know, I'm a very giving person. I do everything from my heart. You know, I have a nonprofit as well. So I always like to give back. So I like to help those that is in need of help, that's a little more vulnerable than others, you know, that need information that's not just readily at their fingertips. So if I know, I want you to know, you know, and that's kind of how I run my business, how I go through life, and it's genuine, you know. So I think that allows for my clientele or anybody that works with me or anybody that actually knows me, know that I'm coming from a genuine place when I try to help them and want to help them. And that makes a difference. That makes a big difference.
That's so good, Queen. Authenticity, you know, originality is everything. And even when I use those terms, right, getting back to the root of it, you said you knew as a kid, you love math, you love, you know, the numbers and accounting. So like you already kind of knew where you were, you maybe didn't know exactly like to the T, but it was going to be something that allowed you to help people, kind of help maybe those who truly needed your help, your authenticity, that love in that aspect. You knew it was going to deal with numbers, so you knew you was going to make some bank. You know, so, but I love that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even when I was 5, you know, I can recall, and I was probably younger than that, my grandmother had like the little 10-key calculator that did that. You click the numbers and you pull the little thing, and I like to hear the sound of it. So I actually knew 10-key as a kid, not knowing how it tied to accounting or anything else, but by its speed and everything else when I was like, oh, I've been doing this. I've been doing these numbers and how to do 10 key. So, you know, it's just, it aligned. Everything aligned for me.
That's perfect. Yes, yes. I love that. That's such a good story because when you think back, you're like, wait a minute. I know for me, I remember we didn't even have a computer, honey. But I don't know, whatever they was teaching us computer in school, elementary or something like that. And I don't know if we went to the Goodwill or what. I can't remember exactly, but I know this. I had a keyboard at home. Didn't have a computer, but I had a keyboard. And I used to practice on the keyboard, like how to professionally type. It wasn't a typewriter, but it was just a keyboard, nothing to connect to. But I would play with that and do that. And so now when I think about, you know, being a publisher and writing books and helping women and all of that, like, man, I was doing that in my youth. I didn't even know I was doing. I just knew I wanted to type and, you know, and knew I wanted to read and write and all of that. But I'm like, man, it's so amazing when you can go back. So I would definitely second that notion. Queen, if you're listening to us and you're saying, I want to be a girl on fire, it's 2021, 2020 is over, I'm ready for a fresh start, I want to hit the ground running, I want you to think back to your youth. That's what I'm hearing. Think back to your youth, because there's probably some breadcrumbs along the way designed and set up for you to take some of those skill sets and do it right now as a grown woman and as a grown woman on fire. Okay, so Shaira, coming back to you, Queen. So talk to me a little bit, you know, tell me about you in regards to making that transition. How did you know this was the thing? There's so many coaches, you know, people pop up as a coach every other day, and it's cool and I love it, but I love when it gets niched down, like to what you're doing, because it's very specific. So what made you say, I'm going to be a coach, but specifically this is the genre that I'm going to be in?
So for me, personally speaking, again, it comes from my journey and my life experiences. I actually didn't start off with this niche. I started off as a consciousness facilitator, very generalized. It wasn't niched down to money and business consciousness. And I mean, I used to love that, but then what happened with me was that I realized somewhere along the way, that I myself shared quite not a great relationship with money. Let's just put it that way. And when I traced it back to my life experiences, I realized that, you know, through my life experiences, I had, as a child, I had like kind of like an emotionally disturbed relationship with my mother, and that pattern started repeating itself through different relationships in my life. In my school, for instance, I was bullied by my so-called best friend. And then when I grew up, I actually started creating abusive, intimate relationships as an adult. And I had to really take a step back at that point in time and see what it was that was happening, why it was that I was recreating this pattern in my life. And when I took a step back, I traced it back to this childhood experience with my mother that I then started, that I had then recreated with other relationships in my life. And I also realized at that point in time, I used to be working as a stylist at the time. And I realized that, but I didn't even have enough money to pay my bills. And I realized that I also share an abusive relationship with money. So this pattern does not only restrict to my relationships, but has also seeped into my money consciousness. And that is how life usually works. If there is a pattern that exists in any one aspect of our life, it is very likely that it would seep into different aspects of our lives. And that is where my inward journey began. And that is where I started kind of, you know, doing the inner work, looking at these mindfulness techniques, consciousness techniques, what it is, what is the space that I'm operating from, what are these emotions that I'm feeling when I'm operating from this space. And that helped me start changing that pattern. And I was an entrepreneur from the get-go. Like even when I was working as a stylist, I was not I was employed with an organization for about a year, and after that I went like completely on my own, had my own setup. And even though I knew I didn't want to do styling anymore as a profession, I knew that I wanted to continue to be an entrepreneur. So I did continue on that path of entrepreneurship, and as I did, I realized that us as women face a lot more challenges and struggles, and we have a lot more layers to unravel and uncover when it comes to our money mindset and business mindset. Because even to begin with, people don't really like, you know, at least I see that happen in my culture where I'm from. Women, even if they set out as business people, they're not, and they do not succeed, they're not, it's not looked at as something that they were meant to do anyway. So even if you fail, it's okay. I mean, you know, you're a woman, you don't necessarily...
See, now you speaking the truth. Go on and preach. Go ahead.
You're not necessarily meant to succeed. You tried something and it didn't happen. You were, you know, possibly it's your hobby that you're doing. You don't really know how to run a business because you're a woman. So there are so many of these, you know, we find ourselves stuck in this social conditioning of the matrix. And because of that, as women, we have so many more layers to uncover and unravel. I just felt I had to do that for myself. So I felt called to work with fellow women entrepreneurs because I kind of really understood what it is that they must be going through as well as fellow women who are trying to make it, you know, trying to kind of carve their niche in this world as business women. So
that's so good. And we're gonna put a pin on that because I want to come back to that. So you done ruffle some feathers right there. And I think it's important, if we're gonna be real, that we not only share, you know, what we are, what we do and how we got into this, but that we have a moment to have that heart-to-heart check so we can be real with each other, because this is all about you, whoever you are, whether you're watching this live, you're catching a replay, that you feel empowered to soar. Like, we want to remove all that hinders mindsets. If it's people, honey, then they got to go. Okay, and we'll talk about that. But let me go to you, Pauline, and talk about how you decided, and you kind of told us a little bit about it, but I want you to take another step further with writing that book and how you knew you wanted to go into this era, or with the poetry, because I know you're doing a lot in the marketplace. I see you all over Facebook and interviews, and but interviews and just you're getting, you know, notoriety, and that's amazing to your work and what you're doing. So that means you're making a move. That's why you're here. So talk a little bit more about how you decided to finally go into that and the genre and all of that.
You know, Shaira touched on a few things, you know, when she mentioned, oh Lord, I just had a brain freeze. No, but when you're talking about going back into childhood and that kind of is a reflection on, like, again, I told you, I had no idea that this is what I was supposed to be doing. My family is musical. We sing, this is what we do. So I had no idea. Okay. So when I received that message and I was told to do this, I questioned it. At first I questioned it and I said, why? You can't question, because this is what you asked for. All right. And then I thought about life from way back when, my experiences. And it was, my mom died when I was a teenager with cancer. I had cancer in my early 20s. My son is, you know, he has a disability. He has cerebral palsy. I now have lupus, you know, and I'm not saying this for anyone to have sympathy for me, but I'm just saying, and my, you know, my relationship with my husband is ... It is, okay? So I think I had to go through all of that to get to where God was telling me, you have to write this poetry, because I went through so much, and my mind, my body, my soul, it just went through, it's a roller coaster that I was going through. And I still am, because this is a journey and we're all going on, we all have journeys. So at that point, I get why my poems, because people tell me all the time, girl, that's too deep. But because of what I went through, I'm able to give this to you, and it's not coming from the surface, it's coming from my soul. And when I hear someone say to me, P, I can't tell you how I needed that at this moment, this particular poem, or I bookmarked, you know, whatever, girl, it hit the spot. That's when I realized that this was my purpose. My purpose is, and you and I spoke, Nakita, when I said, I don't think I'm a healer. But then you said, well, why aren't you? Why not? Because somehow it's healing people. Some of these poems, I guess because it's coming from deep within my soul, and then I'm bringing it out, you know, it's all from the spirit. It's like a lot of these poems that I write, I don't even realize I'm writing them, because it's just, you know what I mean? So that's why I know that this is my purpose. There's a reason for this, and I'm just going to continue on with this because I feel that it has helped many people, because I've gotten feedback, you know? So I must be doing, this is why God said, girl, I'm going to get this messenger to tell you to stop and do this poetry. And that's it. But I feel like the life experiences, I really had to, that was part of why I'm writing and how I'm writing.
Absolutely.
My why and my how.
No. I mean, and it's so deep, because here's the deal. I really want to, and I'm sure you know this, but I'm just go ahead and say it. So you started off by saying your family, they're musicians. Well, what do you think poetry is? Right?
No, it is right.
It's just music. It's just music, just in a poetic form, right? So like my husband and I, when I think about that, my husband is in music, right? He does music, and I'm more so a writer and a speaker. But I'm like, it makes sense that we're together. It's just two different forms, but we're both. There are nights where we're both writing. He might be writing the next song, smash, or whatever hit or what have you, and I'm working on a book, you know, but we're both in that same vein of writing, and however you do it, it's your poetry, and it's the outlet that God has chosen for you. And yes, I questioned you, because my thing is, and this is one thing I learned from corporate, and I thank God for the corporate world I was in 15 years, because they taught me, and in some positions and roles that I got, even in my career field, as I was trying to climb the corporate ladder, I got not because I answered or had a perfect interview, it was because I asked the right questions. And they literally said to me, Nakita, 20, 30 years, whatever, I've never had anybody have me walk away with thought-provoking questions that I didn't have the answer to, that I had to go and do homework on, right? So going deep. So your poetry is having people go deep, right? And the only way you can go that deep, you know, you think about some of the greatest love songs, whatever you're, whoever, I think, you know, I love Sade. That's just my girl. Okay, Sade, hey, if you're watching this, Sade, I would love to have you on the show or anything, anytime, just call me, okay? But love her music, and some of it is not always the most happy. Sometimes it's, you know, a more melancholy, or that kind of melody. But guess what? She had to go through some things. Some of the best music. What you think when Prince did Purple Rain? You think he was happy when he did that? I mean, he had to go somewhere in his life to be able to pull that out to bless other people. So right. I'm just glad, you know, God chose you to do that and to pull that out. Whatever we go through, good, bad, or indifferent, it may have happened to us, but it's never about us. I'm just be honest. I hate to bust whoever bubble that may be that's watching this in the world, in the universe, wherever. It happened to you, but it ain't really meant to be with you, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. It's for you to break through and then share that. Just like Shaira, like you said, those relationships that you began to see and how it began to manifest in your money looking funny. But then you realize that, and as you began to do the work for you, really, you were doing the work for that next sister, for that next queen. She didn't know it. She didn't even know you yet. God is having us do certain things that people think, oh, it's for them. No. Like I know even for myself, when opportunities come or what have you, yes, immediately the first thing it might be for me, but the way my brain is set up, if something comes to me, I'm like, okay, bet, yeah, I'm excited. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, so-and-so, this will be good for her. Oh my gosh, she can be a part of, boop. Like that's the way my brain is wired. So it's never about us. So that's fantastic. So look, Shaira, you done opened up a can of worms, and I'm not going to take much longer. This has been such an amazing night. I hope y'all have been enjoying these women pour out to you, being transparent with you, because they didn't have to be. They could have came and gave you this cookie cutter stuff that you can Google, okay? But this is not what this is about. I mean, quite frankly, there's a lot of stuff you can just Google. If you want cookie cutter, go to Google. But if you want real, then you need to be here with these girl bosses, because they are on fire in this whole week that we've got set up for you. But let's talk about that a little bit. Women in business. You talked about it, Shaira. I know you said in your country or in your culture, but I'm just here to tell you, baby, it's the world. And I love everybody. And I love men. I have a husband. I have a son. So this is definitely not some feminist, we hate men type thing. No, no, no. We need them in our world. I love them just like I love my queens, but we have to call a spade a spade. And what that simply means is there is still disparagement with women in not only the workplace, but in business too. And definitely my financial people. I know you know. Let's talk about that a little bit. How has that shaped the way you move forward? If you think about being a woman in business where you actually collect money for your products or services, how has that shaped you, if anything, in your mindset, the level of responsibility you hold to persevere as a woman? I hope I'm even saying that right, because that wasn't on the docket, but you brought that out, Shaira, so I'm just going to go ahead and blame you. But when you think about the responsibility you now have, you are responsible. There's a woman, there's a girl, there's a older woman, a younger woman, there's a sister, a niece, or somebody looking at you to be empowered to keep going. How important is that for you, and how does that weigh on you, just being a woman, when you think about in relation to what the world says, you know, that this is a man's world? So I hope that makes sense. I just want to see how so Tracy, go ahead, you tell me, Queen.
So I'll start with, you know, part of the reason why I walked away from corporate. You know, there is the glass ceiling in corporate. And, you know, one thing about being your own boss and being empowered, because I felt like I was never going to get paid my worth, and they were never going to put me in those C-suites, those chief positions, no matter what I did to deserve those positions, right? It just, everything, it was so daunting just to get a promotion that you deserve, you know, and I'm like, you know what? I cannot do this anymore. If I ever want to retire, I got to do this now. So I did step out on faith and walk away from my corporate job to expand my business. That was just a side hustle, you know, supplemental income prior to that. So one thing that I'll say is, if you're anywhere, whether it's in a relationship, in a position or whatever, that in your gut, in your heart, in your soul, your spirit, you feel unwanted, unwelcome, unappreciated, that's your cue. That's your cue. That's it. And faith, all you need is a mustard seed. Trust me. All you need is a mustard seed. But yeah, I stepped out on faith for that reason. I got tired of the rat race, got tired of the games. And we hear about it. Like, I had heard about the glass ceiling before, but when you live it,
experience it. Ooh.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You know, it's a whole different beast. So to all the women out there that's experiencing this and is afraid to walk away from their position or their job or whatever, you know, if I wanted to go back and get a job, I could go get a job, but I refuse to work for anybody else. So what you have to lose? Stepping out on faith. I step out on faith in a heartbeat, but follow your heart, because that's what God speaks to you. You know what I'm saying? So if it's in your spirit and God has been nudging you, like, get on out there, step out there on faith, because he got you 100%.
So, Queen, you said it. You completely said it. I remember, and I'm not gonna say what company or what have you, but I remember, I'm sure this super quick. But I remember being we had a summit, and so I think we all flew out. I can't remember if we went to Chicago or Dallas or whatever, but you know, so everybody in the organization flew out. It was kind of like a leadership thing. They were skilling us up on some new stuff, but really for us to have camaraderie, because the department I was in, everybody worked everywhere. I lived in Charlotte, North Carolina. My boss was in Missouri, or, so, and my colleagues were in Ohio and all over, because we worked from home, and then we just traveled out because we were in leadership and development. So we would just travel out to our designated sites that we supported, and we made our own schedule. It was real flex. It was real cool, and I appreciated that. But when we all came together, and I remember being there, and they asked questions, and I've just always been that way, even in school. Like, I was just that person. I'm going to raise my hand, I'm going to answer, I'm going to be engaged. Otherwise, I'm going to sleep. So I participated, answer questions. I'm like, this got to be, not that I'm doing it for a good look, but this surely is a good look. If I'm on your team and I'm the pupil that's raising my hand, answering questions, showing I'm engaged at a company function, I'm thinking that's great. I had heard kudos from some of my other colleagues. Oh, Nakita, you are on it. I'm like, you know what? This was a great week. I get home. Soon as I got home from the flight, so my boss, everybody went different places. Soon as I got home from the flight, open up my computer, I see an email from my boss, basically in a passive aggressive way, basically telling me that I was doing too much. That's basically what he said. And I remember I cried, and I told my husband, because I was so upset. I remember, because I thought it was a phenomenal week. I did what I needed to do, mover, shaker, being who I am. And it was basically, I can't remember the exact words, but it was essentially saying that I did too much. Sometimes less is more. I'm like, what? I'm telling you, I was lost for words, because I was so crushed in spirit in that moment. And I said, God dried my tears, because I knew what time it was. And the time was, and I'm not being funny, and I know we've got women all over the world, but I just have to speak for me. I'm an African-American woman that's moving and shaking. And, again, age is nothing but a number, but I know for me, I've been with that company for quite some time. I basically grew up in that company. So in compared to my counterparts, I was the baby, but I was also ambitious. I was also smart, and I was also on my stuff. And so I knew what that meant. That meant was, maybe not right now, but in the near future, you're afraid that I might be coming for your position. And so that was a way of telling me to stay in my place without saying that, because you don't want HR on you. So in that moment, I knew what time it was. It didn't happen right away, but I began to work the plan, because I said, the devil is a lie. I'm like, I didn't do anything inappropriate. There was nothing. If anything, I got kudos, just doing what I should do. And you told me I was doing too much? Interesting. So I wonder how many women have gone through that, from their corporate sector or their male counterparts. This is not a male bashing session, okay, fellas? If somebody happens to be joining, it's not. But we have to call a spade, and that is, sometimes we are marginalized. Sometimes we are treated unfairly. There is a glass ceiling at times that you're being overlooked, even though you have the same qualifications or the same work ethic or the same work experience. Now, if somebody else has more, then that's fine. That makes sense. But if we're the same, I've been passed up for positions where literally we had the same credentials. I knew we had the same credentials. You couldn't tell me that the role wasn't mine. I knew the role was mine. And so when the role wasn't mine, I was like, what? Wait, but what? Again, but that's okay. It's not a bitter place. I thank God, because it led me to this place. I had to see that slap in the face for me to get here, because if I didn't, I would have been just right there like a little lap dog. Yes. Now, that's not what I would have said of myself. Okay, queens, I'm not nobody's dog, but you understand what I'm saying. I would have been content, because it would have been like the bread and circus. You give me a little bit of crumbs and I'm happy, and it's enough to placate me when God has called me to greater. I was wanting to be the VP by 40 when God wanted to make me the CEO by 35. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what I mean. His ways are not our ways. He's greater. So I'm sorry, I just had to jump into that and just encourage you in this moment, because we've all been there, and I'm sure you've got stories too. So Shaira, you talked about it a little bit, but kind of expand on that. What's the level of importance for you to really own it in this season as a girl boss, as you inspire other women, and kind of think, and as you think about the divide or the disparity that sometimes takes place for go-getters, glow-getters, girl bosses?
Right. And I would like to take off from where Tracy left and what you touched upon as well, because I haven't worked in the corporate sector as such, but like I said, I was in a full-time job when I had just started working out as a stylist, and I was working with one of the biggest media houses. in the country at the time. And I remember, because we used to be styling anchors, one of the male anchors come up and make this comment, because I think I was taking out the outfits for the female anchor and, you know, kind of just having her go through a trial. And he said something to the effect of, oh, the female anchors are just accessories. And that kind of, at that point in time, just, I was shocked to even hear something like that, because I was like, she's working just as hard as you, doing exactly the same thing that you are doing, and you just reduced her to an accessory. Like, how would you even, you know, how could you even use a metaphor like that? And then as I worked in the industry longer, I realized that, you know, I mean, everywhere, of course, but specifically the industry, whether it's fashion or movie, it can be, and it is very, very patriarchal and can be very sexist in many ways. And I guess that's one reason why even though I enjoyed the creative space, being in the creative space and doing the creative work, I really didn't resonate with how the industry functioned. And I was so unhappy and dissatisfied with where I was and what I was doing that I just had to leave. And I really feel that with everything that has happened over the past few years, with the Me Too movement, which also originated in this industry, and you know, you guys, your first female vice president in the US, I mean, how cool is that? I really feel that the universe is expressing a shift in its consciousness through the rise of the power of the divine feminine right now. And we are on fire. We are totally on fire. And this is not about, like you said, bashing the males at all. In fact, what I am including in my workshops now is leading in the world of business and finances using our feminine energy, because that is an energy that has been looked at as weak, that has been looked at as vulnerable, especially in the world of business and finances. It is something that you just don't tune into. We're not supposed to tune into, because that's not the energy we use to lead. And regardless of our gender, we all have the masculine and the feminine energy, the yin and the yang. In fact, even for the men, it's very important to tune into their feminine energy and lead from that, because that is the energy that really helps us tap into our intuition, tap into the flow. And those components and aspects are just as important as using logic and strategy. So this is not about just using the feminine. This is about an integration of the masculine and the feminine, so that we can have that balance prevail in our world. And I really believe that our world is headed in that direction now with everything that's going on. So I think we're living in really exciting times, and we are headed towards you know, one of the best times in the history of all times.
I agree with that. I everything you said in regards to, you know, that's why we have those in us. That's why we have, you know, X and Y and all these chromosomes. And I mean, you know, you can go as deep as you want to go, but the bottom line is it can't be all business. You have to have logic. You have to have a level of grace. You have to have some level of compassion. Compassion doesn't mean you're getting walked on like a dog. Compassion means that, you know what, I may have been through that. I may have been there. You know, I want to show empathy in this situation. It's showing you have a heart. So again, please, if you don't walk away with anything else, please don't walk away from this segment thinking in these past few questions that we're coming on to men. We're not. But what you have to do, and the problem is, as a world as a large, we have shuffled so much stuff under a rug and turned a blind eye. Now we can't be blind anymore. You can't be blind to the racial disparity, the feminine disparity. You can't be, I mean, to those who are sick or impoverished or downtrodden, used and abused, you can't turn the blind eye. And for a long time, the world has turned a blind eye. Now, those who were in those roles, they coming up, honey, and you better get on the right end of the stick. Okay, so I'm just saying, okay? So do your part. Your voice matters in things such as voting. And when you have an opportunity, when you have a seat at the table, I put a quote out, Michelle Obama said, and I'm gonna unfortunately jack it up. But the point is, she said something to the effect of, what good is it for you to basically be at the table if you're not going to use your voice? If you're not going to use your voice when you have a seat at the table, then get up and let somebody else who's going to exercise that voice, who's going to exercise their God-given ability to voice and vocalize what's going on, let them have it. Like, basically what she said was barbecue or mildew. Those are for my people in the United States, particularly from the South. Are you going to bust a grape? Are you going to make it happen? If you're not, then get up. I still love you though, but you need to move. So somebody who's going to make moves, real moves, boss moves, kingdom moves to better everybody, let them have a seat. It's okay. Everybody hasn't got to that place, and let's just be real. We didn't start off boisterous like this. Nobody did, right? Everybody said their feelings hurt. Everybody has, maybe had a moment where they didn't feel as confident in what they were saying, and that's okay. So what we're saying is, you're not weak if you've got an opportunity at the seat at the table and you can't speak. To me, what makes you weak is if you've got an opportunity at the seat at the table, you're afraid or unwilling to speak, and then you don't move so somebody else can speak. Now, that's not cool, okay? So get up. If it's not you, it's all right, but let a sister sit down that can vocalize so she can help the world, okay? Queen, we good? All right. Pauline, go ahead and answer that for us as well. Talk about, I know you're in the book industry more so, right? You're an authorpreneur, you got your poetry books. What has that been like for you? Because you are a woman, right? We are women. How you've been able to juggle that? Have you felt any of that energy in regards to, again, this is not male versus female, but have you had any instances or where you felt like, you know what, I've got to do this, maybe for the culture, maybe I need to do this for other women, or what has really kind of propelled you into that? And talk about, have you felt anything that has made you feel like, you know what, I am a woman, I feel empowered, it's my duty to empower other women in this space?
Well, prior to writing this book, because I was in the music industry, I worked for a live music entertainment company. I won't say the name, but so that industry in itself is more male dominated, and the position, although we were executive and managers and so forth, you didn't feel like one, okay? And that was when I was saying there was that void, there was something missing, because you have the job, it's great, I can go to concerts and all that was a wonderful thing, but yet you felt like, okay, I'm supposed to be an executive, I'm supposed to be a manager, I'm supposed to be able to take care of my own department without anyone telling me what to do. All of that never happened. It was always someone having to tell me and my partner, she was also a woman, what we needed to do as opposed to taking care of our own department, okay? And it was always the male. And you're doing this through the years and through the years and through the years, and you get to a point where, okay, enough is enough. And yes, and I've always written poetry, but just like I said, I didn't share it with people. So I've had these thoughts and I would write things down. So it was always in my head, just what angered you, because you can't bring the anger to work, especially being a manager. You can't come in, because that's setting the tone for the rest of the day for everyone.
Right.
So
you got to be the poster child for everybody else. I understand. Trust me, I understand.
So you don't want, you don't want everybody coming in on the down slope. But with all of that energy, and I could feel it. I could just feel someone walking past me, and it's like there's this. I'm somewhat intuitive because I know when you don't want me in your space, and I was tired of that, because I didn't do anything to you, but I think it was me. I think it was my personality. I think it was because I could speak, and I did, because trust me, trust and believe, trust and believe. Although they tried to treat me some type of way, I let them know in a professional way that you're talking to the wrong person. So therefore the energy was not good energy. So thank God for that voice to tell me to do this. And with that just helped me to share with, and mainly with women, how you can get through certain things. But first you have to prioritize, I believe, your soul and your spirit. Get that in order, get that in check, and then you're good. Get that in check, and just believe in who you are. Believe in yourself. And I'm here, I think, to help mainly women, because the men, I don't know if they can really relate to a lot of what I've written. I think they can, but it's mostly for the women, because I am a woman and I'm getting these feelings and energy from me being who I am. And I'm just hoping that what I've done and what I have written can really resonate and let someone know that it's not just you. I've been there, done that, but look where I am now, and you can be there too. You most definitely can go there and further, but just keep your soul and your spirit in check. Get that in order, and I think you'll be fine.
No, I love that. I love that. And it's crazy that, you know, all different walks of life, we're all in different locations, we're all women, we're all different ages, but yet we share this same experience of where we have at some point in our life, and, you know, again, no bashing to men, but in this case, it has been men where we have felt like we were being tolerated and not celebrated. And you can get that with women too, right? So again, this is not about that, but if anything, the overarching for me is whatever you do in 2021, I want you to move from a place of being tolerated. You are greater than a toleration. No one should have to tolerate your presence, your authenticity, your boldness, your beauty, your unique ideas, your passion, your gifts. No one should have to tolerate you. It should be celebrated. If you are not celebrated in the environment, whether it's at work, whether it's at home, with your family, in the French, I don't care who it is. If you are not celebrated in your authenticity, then I need you to take some prune juice and let that stuff go, because they do not need to be in your space. 2021, we won't do it. Queen, you cannot do it. You can't afford to do it. There's too many lives that God has set up for you to impact. How are you going to impact them if you being tolerated? What? I can't even I was literally thinking of that today when I think of a glimpse back in my life from last year, because still, like you said, Tracy, I was full-time corporate, but side hustling with my business, still kept my business the main thing. But, you know, this year walking out fully in faith, fully letting go of the corporate job and walking into full-time entrepreneurship. But when I think about just a year ago, 12 months ago, you know, being tolerated by some folks that I was in the business with, it's tolerated. When I look up almost every day, it's a celebration. God is giving me something new to be excited about, to be energized about, lives to impact, queens to meet, just to encourage and uplift. Like every day is a celebration. I'm literally excited every single day. And it's not about the applause or people, oh, Nakita, great job. Like, I mean, I appreciate it, but it's all good. You know, God has made me a winner. I've always been a winner. So it ain't, you know, not being funny. I thank people for that, but it's all good whether I get it or don't. It's just moving from a space of where I was tolerated and I knew it. No one said it. Oh, Nakita, we're tolerating you. But in their spirit, the way they moved around me, you can feel it. Like, you know, they just tolerating you. Oh yeah, the paperwork's over there. Real, like that's how you feel when I come in the building? Child, please. Yeah, I am great, honey. Okay. And so if you can't catch this energy, and this is the same person I've always been, this isn't just for this recording or what have you. This is who I am 365. Now I sleep and all of that, but for the most part, this is me. So for you to have access to that, and oh yeah, it's over there. What? So Queen, if that's you and you're under the sound of my voice, whether you're catching this live on a replay, let those people go. Period. That job gotta go. That other person, whether it's a significant other or what have you, I need you to let them go, because you've been called to greater, but you can't get to greater living in a land of toleration. So I just want to drop the pin on that. So queens, I know our time, like this is so good. I literally could go on and on, but I know these women, they're girl bosses. Hello, they're on fire. So I know they got clients and meetings and things they've got to get to. But what I will do before we end this tonight, it's been phenomenal. I thank you for your heart, your transparency, you know, the talks that you're having. Like I said, if they wanted cookie cutter information, then they should have not came to Girl on Fire and they should have went to Google. But because I know they're here because they wanted your heart, I'm honored that you would do that. So as we wrap it up, I just want to kind of round table, give us your final thoughts in this theory, in this concept of being a girl on fire, what that means, how you want to encourage these women. And then please tell us what you've got coming up in 2021. Anything that you've got going on in the near future, first quarter, maybe Q1 of 2021 that you want them to know about, or how they can follow you. I want you to do that. So 2 things. 1, give them that final thought. Girl on fire. Who is that? How do you want to encourage them in the spirit? And then 2, let them know if you got any upcoming events or projects in 2021 that you can share, and how they can stay connected with you, because you are a girl on fire. So whoever wants to take that first. Don't jump all at once. Okay. Okay. Look, ladies are so considerate. Like, you go. They in here. You should see the text. They in here pinging. You go. No, you go. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Queen. I'm sorry.
Okay. So again, I am Tracy Jones. I am the CEO of TLJ Professional Services. So my final thought, I intentionally wore this shirt that says, "We are the ones we've been waiting for." Okay, I thought to dress up, I'm like, you know what? No, this shirt has a message. And for a girl that's on fire, we are the ones we've been waiting for. Okay, so that's the final thought I want to leave you with. Projects, I stay on projects. So please follow me on my platforms. TLJ Professional Services, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and there's a Twitter account being set up for me as well, because I'm getting shout out on Twitter and I'm not even on Twitter. So you can follow my business as TLJ Professional Services. You can also follow me as Tracy Tate Jones. And then also my brand, we're branding, we're about all things financial. So about all things financial, that's our educational series. Our courses, we'll be releasing more courses. We have a course out now that we're doing. So that'll be our course platform. So follow about all things financial on all platforms as well. And it's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. It is always a pleasure. She's phenomenal. We've worked on a couple things that's been drop, and some more on the way. Phenomenal. Love your authenticity. And I know you've been told that you stay bold and beautiful and all that good jazz. And just I speak blessings over your life, your business, and everybody that's affiliated with you, because you just thorough like that. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Queen. All right. So who wants to go next, Queen? Let them know. Give them a final girl on fire thought of the evening, and then just let them know what you got going on and how they can stay connected.
I'll go. I would like to read a poem because I think this kind of, sums it up in my world. It's titled On My Way Up. And it's from my first book, When the Mood is Right, A Poetry Journey. Okay. And by the way, I'm writing a trilogy. So the first 2 are out. Okay. So this is On My Way Up. Climbing up the mountain, reaching for the top. With every step reminds me that there is no giving up. Thoughts in my head, books that I've read, unspoken words, loves that's been lost, all tapping into my brain as I take this climb, proving to myself that I'm not so far behind with my dreams and my goals. With stories untold, when the time is right, it will all unfold. It's a tough climb, but I'm almost there. Anxiety removed and having no fear. I do what I do what I can, I live my best life. I am who I am. I'll walk my walk and I'll talk my talk. Climbing that mountain, I'm on my way up, reaching to the very top and not giving up. Okay, so that
I had to come off of mute for that one.
I leave with everyone because
y'all didn't notice. Y'all didn't know. Y'all didn't notice what we do here on Girl on Fire. Yes, Queen.
Yes, yes. And as I said, I'm writing a trilogy. So books 1 and 2, Mood Swings. Shameless plug. And and book 3 is it's in my head, but it's coming. And Miss Nakita, thank you so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You are fabulous. Well, God bless you. And look, did you tell them how they can follow you? Your social media? Yeah. It should be at the bottom where they can see it as well, but just say it for just coots and giggles, okay?
So my poetry name is Queen P, And you can find me on Instagram at Queen P Poetry 123 and on Facebook at Queen P Poetry. So that's where you can find me. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. You know, we in this digitized age, honey. Everybody, as soon as that's the first thing I do. If I see, I mean, I'm just being honest. If somebody reach out, let me go to their social media. What's on there? Oh, I don't like that. I can't accept their friend requests. I mean, even with business. Oh, let me go to their social media. Where they at? What are they doing on Facebook? That sounds suspect. Oh, I see she moving and shaking, friend. Accept it. You know, I'm just being honest. I'm sitting right now probably, and forgive me, Jesus, if it's any of y'all, but it's probably about 300 or 400 people sitting in my friend list right now. I mean, and I'm also busy, okay? It's not like I can just sit and play around on Facebook all day, but I'm just saying. So yes, people follow you, follow her, follow both of these queens. Thank you so much. It's an honor and a privilege to connect with you. Again, another authentic one. You speak with such power, and I can feel that conviction, and we on our way. I almost bust out into Disney's Princess and the Frog. She got a song almost there. Honey, I hit that. See, I used to sing back in the day, baby. I ain't had no lemon today, but okay, we're gonna move forward. Yes, Shaira, go ahead, Queen.
Yes. So I think my closing words would be just go for it. A lot of us have so many ideas bubbling and, you know, literally waiting to come forth and be birthed. And we're just sitting on them because we feel we're not ready. But honestly speaking, if you wait until you feel you're ready, you're going to be waiting forever. So just go for it. You are the power in your life, and you are ready in this moment because you are whole and complete in this moment, just as you are. So just take the plunge, and the path will literally, you know, light itself up as you start walking on it. So where you can find me is Shaira.Chaudry on, Shaira_Chaudry on Instagram and Chaudry.Shaira on Facebook. And that's where I will be sharing about my upcoming events, workshops, sessions, anything that I do. So yeah, feel free to hit me up.
Perfect. Thank you, Queen. That's right. You just got to go for it. You know, once we move past in our mind, especially as women, move past this place of perfectionism. That's a whole nother story. I don't know what school. I think we all came from some little school. It must have been in one little town that we all went through. If you've ever seen Ugly Dolls, okay, you can tell I'm a mom of like an under 5-year-old. I'm calling out Princess and the Frog, Ugly Dolls. Like, this is what we do, okay? In between conferences and taking over the world, when they're watching SpongeBob, okay? But the point I'm trying to make is, you know, it was all about like the dolls were coming out and they were all the same. And when, as soon as they were scanned, they would tell them, oh, you're a model / singer. You're and so what I'm trying to say is like, almost like the women were funneled through this school of perfectionism. Like, oh, everything has to be perfect and it has to be cute and perfect and, you know, and so much so that it becomes crippling. So much so that we become stuck because, oh, it's not perfect. I mean, long story short, I remember reading some study, I don't know if it was Harvard or Forbes or one of those big guru magazines where, you know, women 100% of the time, they have to feel that they're 100% ready before they would apply for a position, right? Like, meaning when they're looking at the rec, the credentials, oh, I gotta have, oh, well, I don't quite have my certification here, so I can't apply yet. Men, 60%. 40% of them know that they don't qualify. Oh, I'm applying. Yeah, I'm going to be the new CFO. I'll see you Monday. We will sit back and say, oh, no, I'm missing that. I can't. I can't. And so in the words of really what Shaira is saying is just do it. I'm going to add to that and say, do it scared. Do it anyway. If you fumble, so what? I mean, what's going to happen? Worst case scenario. Okay, it wasn't perfect. And the one person who doesn't matter to you anyway laughs. Okay, what's up? Do it scared anyway. Like, I'm so free in my mind. Not that I don't want to move with a spirit of excellence. Yes, I want to move with a spirit of excellence, but I know that I'm not perfect. There's no person on this earth that's perfect. I'd rather get it done operating in love, knowing that I'm operating in integrity, knowing that I'm operating in stepping out on faith and in obedience to the calling over my life, and in not be perfect, than for me to sit stuck and not do anything and let the time pass, let the season pass, let the moment and the opportunity pass. Some people right now are waiting for later in 2021, when the economy, or when COVID is gone, or when, and these things might not happen. These situations, these idyllic situations may not take place, and you'll never get it done. Or I'm just saying, this is a big if, but let's say all of those things happen, but now the window of opportunity is no longer there. People keep waiting for this proverbial door. Oh, I want the door. You know, when the door is knocking, I'll answer and all, but maybe it's not the door. In this season, maybe God is just giving you a window, and all he did was lift it up just a little bit, but it's enough for you to get through. But you're trying to wait till it's perfect to go through the door. But when it's perfect, the door will be shut, and so will the window. So I will take the window and squeeze through that window and come on through imperfect and all, and make it happen, than waiting for a door that may be forever closed when everything is all good. This is your moment in time. So if you don't hear anything else from these beautiful women from around the country and around the world, hear that you've got to do it now. You were created for a time such as this. You're not the only one. We're rooting for you to win, and somebody in the universe, in the world, needs you. Whatever your gift is, if it's your book, if it's your business, if it's you speaking your voice and your truth, do it, because time waits for no one and the world needs you. So on that note, Queens, this is your girl, Minister Nakita Davis, the proud CEO and founder of Jesus Coffee and Prayer Christian Publishing House, the #1 Christian publishing house in the land. And this has been a phenomenal evening of just girl bosses who are moving and shaking all over the world. We pray that you are blessed. Make sure you follow me at Jesus Coffee and Prayer on Facebook, Instagram, on Twitter. I think I'm Jesus Coffee Pray, because the name was too long. You can go to the website, www.jesuscoffeeandprayer.com, if you need help with your next international best-selling book, speaker platforms, or what have you. Just stay connected, because you will be encouraged in this season. This is Girl on Fire. Bye.
Let me tell you this, see, I rock my own money. Keep talking, can't tell me nothing, no.
I went from making $75,000 a year to $75,000 a month. You talk about a girl from the hood, a girl who ain't know nothing about having money in the bank. Literally. How's that happen? It's a God thing. It's a God divine timing thing. It's a divine orchestration with women like this who see greatness in you and are willing to open the doors.
Women of faith, and I'm gonna say this may hurt just a little bit. We think we can just stay in that little cubicle, that little corner. Oh, I know God, I can pray, I can do all this. We just do that. And we say things, I'm waiting on God. He's sitting back like, girl, can y'all tell them I'm waiting on them? They're not waiting on me. You're not waiting on me. It's already done.
Hello everyone, it's your girl Coco from SWV, and you're watching Girl on Fire, hosted by Jesus, Coffee, and Prayer. Now my definition of a girl on fire is myself. I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, a sister, a friend, entrepreneur. I'm fabulous, but most of all, I'm a king's kid. Much love and God bless.
God has graced you to create. He just gave that to me just now. I didn't have that before. He has graced you to create, right? So if the first thing our Heavenly Father did was create, so the question is, what has He called you to create?